Good evening, Bahamas, coming up tonight on our news.
Another major fire at the New Providence landfill. That story straight ahead.
The leader of the Free National Movement vows not to shut down BAMSI. That story is coming up tonight, straight ahead.
Plus, the PLP and F&M go head-to-head with competing mass rallies.
Our news is brought to you by Alive, the nation's newest and best LTE network.
Good to be alive.
Welcome to our news and thanks for joining us. I'm Christina McNeil. Topping news tonight, for the second time in less than 2 months, a major blaze has erupted at the New Providence landfill. Environment Minister Kenred Dorsett and Tall Pines candidate Leslie Miller called it an act of sabotage. Jasmine Brown has the details in this report.
According to Fire Chief Walter Evans, the fire department got the call just before 3 this morning, and when they arrived, they met this ridge just behind me covered in flames.
Where we had some very serious concerns, particularly in regard to the fire moving towards the MRF, which is a heavy piece of equipment which is valued maybe several $100,000 and maybe in the early millions.
Evans says they were able to extinguish the blaze after hours of firefighting efforts. At the scene this morning, he said it appeared the ridge of trash that was burning was not as severe as the fire that blanketed the Jubilee Gardens and Gladstone Road area in a thick layer of smoke last month. That fire forced residents to evacuate their homes and lasted for weeks. Arson is suspected in that matter, but Evans says it's too early to tell what caused this latest fire. That's not stopping Miller and Dorsett, who were both at the scene this morning, from claiming the fire was deliberately started.
It's sabotage. Because I'm told that there was in fact gasoline just poured from one end of that area to the next end, which is about, I guess, about 200 to 300 yards. About a quarter mile, really, less than a quarter mile. I guess this is political season, so you do what you got to do to try to cause havoc on the minds of the Bahamian people. Tomorrow is when we nominate. So hopefully we don't be smelling smoke while we nominate, you know.
We believe it to be sabotage. The fire is in a straight line right along the ridge, which is not something that is standard if it were as a result of combustion.
But Evans insisted investigations are based on facts and not speculation.
We are not going on speculation. We have to do an investigation, and once we conclude, then the police will be in a position to say conclusively, but we cannot say conclusively, not at this point.
Meantime, Dorsett says he has spoken to Prime Minister Perry Christie about beefing up security at the dump.
I'm having a discussion with my team about the existing security measures because the government has given them 24-hour security at the site during the aftermath of the last fire. So I need to understand where those resources were deployed during the night for this to have taken place. But beyond that, the Prime Minister has indicated in our discussions this morning that if we need to bring Defense Force officers out here to contain and shut down this site, that will in fact happen.
Reporting for our news, I'm Jasmine Brown.
In other news, after holding a series of political events in recent weeks to generate excitement among their supporters, the Progressive Liberal Party and Free National Movement will go head-to-head tomorrow night with competing mass rallies. The PLP chairman says this is no coincidence. Vonique Toot reports.
It's the clash of the campaigns. As Progressive Liberal Party supporters gather on Arawak Key Thursday night for the party's first New Providence mass rally, Color Red will converge on Bailey Park that very night for what the F&M has dubbed a mega rally.
Join the Free National Movement's 2017 Change Team Thursday, April 20th at an F&M mass rally.
The competing rallies are no coincidence. PLP Chairman Bradley Roberts says the party had initially planned to hold its rally on Bailey Park Tuesday night, but
our esteemed leader decided to reschedule it for Thursday night, where we can go head-to-head with the opposition, the Free National Movement. We thought that we should be able to track our supporters and for them to focus on the message that we want to get out, rather from them being detoured elsewhere.
And it doesn't end there. The two major parties are also set to hold competing events on Grand Bahama Friday night and Exuma on Saturday. This isn't sitting well with FNM Chairman Sidney Cawley, who says the party put together its schedule of events leading up to the May 10th election well over a week ago.
Somehow, the PLP must have found out about our schedule of events. I think the PLP is afraid that we are attracting PLPs to our activities and our rally. I think that is the biggest fear, and I believe that they are planning their activity head-to-head with us and trying all they can to jazz their activity up to keep their people home.
Unfazed, Roberts insisted their plan is to put to rest any suggestion that the FNM can pull a bigger crowd.
I think that's laughable. Those who have eyes could have seen what the facts are in comparison to the PLP's crowd versus the FNM crowd. What has happened on Easter Monday should be an example, or should send a very positive message to all PLPs out there, and a very negative ones to the FNM.
Well, Cawley had these three words for Roberts: bring it on.
So obviously, it is the strategy of the PLP to shadow us. We have no problems being the pace setter and being out of the gate first. And so we are going to continue to do exactly what we are doing, exactly the way we planned it. And if they want to shadow us, if they want to go head-to-head with us, bring it on.
Cawley says it's a new day in Bahamian politics, and if that's how the PLP wants to play the game, so be it.
We are flattered that they have such high regard for our planning and our execution that they want to do it, when we do it, how we do it, and in some cases, where we do it.
The PLP is all fired up and ready to move. Fired up, yes. And I wish that May 10th was tomorrow so we can get this over and done with.
Reporting for our News, I'm Vonique Tude.
And while addressing supporters at a rally in North Andros last night, FNM leader Dr. Hubert Minnis dispelled rumors about the future of BAMSI under an FNM administration. Giorgio Bain has that story.
Minnis last night said that his vision for agriculture is broad while pledging to fix the issues at the Bahamas Agriculture and Marine Science Institute, despite assertions from the Progressive Liberal Party government that an FNM-led government would shut down the multi-million-dollar agriculture-based institute. Earlier this month, Agriculture and Marine Resources Minister V. Alfred Gray told PLP supporters that Minnis would most likely shut down BAMSI if the FNM was victorious in the upcoming election. Well, during a rally on North Andros last night, Minnis said it appears that the PLP was in panic mode and was ready to play dirty tricks to win the election. He said it was now more important than ever for FNMs to be vigilant, not letting their guard down for battle.
Let me be clear. When the FNM wins, we will fix BAMSI. We will make it stronger and even better.
Minnis added that he would make BAMSI beneficial for all Bahamians and not just those who support the PLP.
The truth is, BAMSI could have been up and running in the proper manner long ago. But like everything they touch, the PLP used BAMSI to give money and favors only to their people. Instead of spreading opportunities and money fair and square throughout North Andros, they only dealt with the PLPs.
Describing himself as a transformational leader, Minnis appealed to supporters in North Andros to rally together to vote the PLP out of office.
I hear some people got plenty money from BAMSI, and they didn't pay people who did the work on the project. The PLP gave contracts for construction at BAMSI to people who didn't even legally qualify for these contracts. They gave contracts to people who didn't have insurance.
Reporting for our News, I'm Giorgio Bain.
Despite calls for political parties and their supporters to keep their campaigns clean, Bahamian politics has hit a new low, with anonymous internet trolls posting memes on social media targeting prominent Bahamians perceived to be affiliated with the major parties. One of the latest memes to make the rounds on social media is a PLP Wheel of Fortune created by We Care Bahamas. FNM Chairman Sidney Cawley says he does not condone what he called the disgusting and dark side of social media.
I have seen extreme invective and slanderous materials on Facebook. I've seen the worst of the worst on all the social media sites. I want to say to Bahamians, you need to be responsible. Using social media to defame, to slander, to cuss out, and to say obviously false narrative about anyone is wrong, and you should not engage in it.
PLP Chairman Bradley Roberts says he is hopeful that voters are intelligent enough to tell the difference between lies and facts.
Unfortunately, some Bahamians who during the election period sink to a new low with their personal attacks on people. But I suppose that's part of the landscape. And I'm very hopeful that the intelligent population will be able to distinguish between what is foolishness and what is real. Only persons who are running for public office are the ones who should be targeted, and that their families should be left alone. I remember Sir Lyndon Penlin being very, very strong on that and defending his wife and say she was not a part of the fray and to leave her alone. I subscribe to that view.
Cawley suggested that the next government should take legislative steps to address this problem.
When somebody gets up in the middle of the night and is feeling a certain way, they go to social media and they vet or vent on social media however they feel like doing it, simply because they know unless it's legally defamatory under Bahamian law, they can get away with it. The caricature, some of the untruth, if it isn't defamatory, they get away with it. The answer at the end of the day is legislation. But legislation is a double-edged sword because you have to be very careful how you tamper with free speech.
Still to come on our news, a call for an end to vandalism in the run-up to the general election. Stay with us.